for this epsilon positive, there exists a partition. There exists a partition. There exists a partition P of this interval AB such that this UFP minus LFP, this is less than epsilon. So this you have to prove. So keep in mind this statement that you have to prove this result. Right? So from this relation number 1, so we used this equation number 1 yesterday also. So yeah. So because this fnx minus fx, this is less than epsilon by 2.
सर प्रीवियस स्लाइड और एक बार दिखा दीजिए.
हाँ, इसमें क्या दिक्कत है?
ओके सर, हो गया.
हाँ, ओके, या गुड. So as per equation number 1, this fnx minus fx less than epsilon by 2. So this implies, so this is true for every x. This is true for every x in closed interval AB. So this implies this fx, you can write this fx as, this fx must be less than this fnx and plus epsilon by 2. Is it okay? Is it okay to everybody? This fx is less than fnx. This is true for every x in this AB. Is it okay? जब भी fnx और fx के बीच का डिस्टेंस जो है वो epsilon by 2 से छोटा होगा, this fx must be less than fnx plus epsilon by 2 for every x in AB. And similarly, and therefore, if you take the supremum of both the sides, the supremum of fx, this must be less than or equal to this fnx supremum of this fnx and plus epsilon by 2. Right? Is it okay? Supremum of fx? Yeah. Then what we need actually, so this implies, so if you just multiply by the length of the subintervals, so say your jth subinterval is xj minus 1 and xj. Here is your x0 which is equal to a, and here is your xn equal to b. So suppose this jth subinterval is of length xj minus 1. Xj minus 1. And suppose this capital MJ F, this is the, you just denote, so denote by this MJF as the supremum of F on this subinterval xj minus 1 xj. So this xj minus 1 xj. And similarly, this MJFN is the supremum of Fn on this interval xj minus 1 xj. Right? So in fact, this relation is true for every x in AB. So this is also true for every x in each of the subintervals, right? For each of the subintervals. So therefore, this MJF in fact, this is less than equal to this mj fn and plus epsilon by 2. So you remember, you can replace this epsilon by 2 as per your need. So I'm just repeating epsilon by 2, but I know that you have to adjust something. And then you multiply both sides by the length of the subinterval xj minus 1. So this is nothing but mjf into this xj minus 1, and this is less than equal to mjfn and xj minus 1 and plus epsilon by 2 into xj minus 1. Yeah. Now you sum both the sides from j varies from 1 to n. So sum both the sides over this j varies from 1 to n. Here also. So what is this? mjf and xj minus 1. So this is nothing but the upper Riemann sum for the function f over the partition P. You remember the definition? This mjf is the supremum of the function on this subinterval xj minus 1 xj. So therefore, this is the supremum of the function over the subinterval into the length of the interval summed over every member of the partition. So this is your UFP. And what is this? This is UFNP. So this is less than equal to UFNP. And what is this? This is your epsilon by 2, and this is xj, epsilon by 2 you can take outside, xj minus 1. So this is x1 minus x2 minus x1 plus x3 minus x2 plus x4 minus x3 and so on. So finally you will get this xn minus x0, but xn is b and x0 is a. So this is b minus a. So if you want this term to be just epsilon by say 2 or epsilon by 4, you must consider this at initial level this epsilon upon 4b minus a, as I considered yesterday actually. So you must consider epsilon by 4b minus a instead of epsilon by 2. So everywhere you write epsilon by 4b minus a, epsilon by 4b minus a, epsilon by 4b minus a, epsilon by 4 b minus a. Here also epsilon by 4 b minus a. You'll just soon see the advantage of considering. So this is epsilon by 4 b minus a. So this b minus a will cancel out, and you will get this quantity is less than equal to u fn p and plus epsilon by 4. So in a similar way, you can also prove that this LFP, this will be greater than equal to LFNP for lower Riemann sum, LFNP and minus epsilon by 4. Right? Okay. Okay. Is it clear to everybody up to this stage? Maybe you can write this as equation number 3, this as equation number 4. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now you multiply this 4 by minus sign. So if you write this as minus LFP will be less than, when you multiply by minus, inequality will change. So minus LFNP and plus epsilon by 4. And you add both the inequalities 3 and 4. After multiplying this inequality 4 by minus and adding with 3, what you obtain? Left side will be UFP minus LFP. So I'm writing on next slide. So the left side will be this UFP minus LFP, and this is less than equal to, right side will be UFNP minus LFNP and plus epsilon by 4 plus epsilon by 4, that is epsilon by 2. So epsilon by 4, and when you multiply by minus sign, this will be plus epsilon by 4. So epsilon by 4 plus epsilon by 4, epsilon by 2. Now you use the condition that this fn is integrable. This fn is integrable for each n, you know. So therefore, this upper Riemann sum minus lower Riemann sum for the partition P, you use it, in fact, equation number 2. So in equation number 2. Yeah. Just a minute. Use this relation here. So this will be strictly less than epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2, that is less than epsilon. So therefore, this shows that this limit function is Riemann integrable. So this implies that this f is R integrable. F is R integrable on this AB. And now once it is integrable by a similar argument as in the previous case, as in the previous theorem, you are able to show that it's not only integrable, the value of the integral you can also calculate. So the value of this integral fx dx, so this is nothing but the limit of this AB, limit of AB and fnx dx. So this is a simple exercise for you to complete, to finish the exercise. So you do your on your own. So is it okay to everybody? Can you complete this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just like the previous case, you just finish it to that it's not only Riemann integrable, but the value of Riemann integral is equal to limit of the integral of the function fnx over the interval AB. Okay. So I think this is all about the uniform convergence of sequence of functions. So there are some exercises, you must do it. Maybe on page 244 there are few exercises, so you must complete it. So tomorrow I have added one of my research scholar, Mr. Ashok. So he will help you to do some of the exercises maybe, but you at least try some of them. On your own, and few exercises he will help you to finish. So now I am starting the next article. So as you know, in case of real numbers, first you have studied the sequence of real numbers, and then you study the series of real numbers. So you know, in real cases, you know, this xn, if is a real sequence, xn is a real sequence, you know its convergence. So you know this xn converges to some number L. So by definition, if for every positive epsilon there is a natural number such that for every n greater than equal to n, this implies the distance between xn and L is less than epsilon. So as small as you wish. If this is so, you say that the sequence of real number converges to number L. Now, if you want to find the sum of an infinite series like this, say x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus xn. Suppose this is an infinite series. This is the nth term. You may call this as nth term. So we say that this infinite series you can write as a sigma xn, n is equal to 1 to infinity. this infinite series may have finite or infinite sum. So we say that this series is convergent. So this is a definition you must have seen in undergraduate classes. So when we say this infinite series is convergent, can somebody reply?
When sum is finite.
Huh? When the sum is finite?
When the sum of the series is finite.
So when we say it's finite,
Finite.
how you calculate?
Sir, when sum of its partial sum is bounded.
Sum of its partial sum, only bounded is sufficient. Sum of partial sum is bounded sufficient.
And limit n tending to infinity.
Converts to zero.
And limit
Limit
n
zero पे जाना
tending to
चाहिए, sir, n tends to
infinity,
infinity.
xn tends to 0.
No, that is you say a necessary condition. That is a necessary condition for this limit nth term n tending to infinity is equal to 0. This is necessary condition, but this is not a sufficient. This cannot be treated as a definition of the convergence of the sequence, convergence of this infinite series. This is just a necessary. If this will not hold, if this nth term is not equal to 0, this is not convergent. This is not convergent. But
Sir,
it is not. Yeah.
if the sequence of partial sum is convergent, then we can say that.
Yeah, that's the definition. That's the definition. That you first calculate the sequence. You know the convergence of a sequence you have already studied. The convergence of sequence you have already studied. Now you want to compare somehow this infinite series to a sequence which is convergent. So you can basically construct a sequence of partial sum. So you construct a sequence, say this Sn, where this nth term of the sequence is simply x1 plus x2 plus dot xn. So this S1 is equal to x1, S2 is equal to x2, S3 is equal to, S2 is equal to x1 plus x2, S3 is x1, x2, x3, and so on. So in this way, you can construct a real sequence. Now the definition is that we say that this infinite series xn and is equal to 1 to infinity is convergent if the sequence of partial sum is convergent. As a sequence, as a sequential convergence. If the sequence of partial sum is convergent, we say that this infinite series is convergent. So that's the definition of convergent of an infinite series. And in a similar way, you can also define the convergent of series of functions, convergent of infinite series of functions. So now here is the convergent of, first you can write maybe on the next slide. Yeah. So what is the infinite series? Infinite series of functions, series of functions. So each member is a function here. Each member of the series is a function, like this f1x plus f2x plus f3x dot this fnx and so on. And you can write this as sigma fnx n is equal to 1 to infinity. So definitely all these functions must be defined, at least it should be defined on the same interval. So where each fi or each maybe fk, say each fk is a function from some interval ab to r. Otherwise the sum of two functions may not be defined. So for defining the sum, at least each member should be defined. Okay. So now in a similar way, we also construct the partial sum of functions. So partial sum of functions is simply this f1x plus dot this fnx. So sum of first n terms So first n terms, you sum it and call this as a sequence of partial sum. Now you say that this infinite series pointwise converges to some function if this sequence of partial sum pointwise converges to the function. In a similar way, if this sequence of partial sum uniformly converges to a function f defined on interval ab, then we say that this infinite series of functions uniformly converges to the function f. So here is the definition. So definition, so we say that this infinite series, this f this infinite series pointwise converges to a function f defined on the same interval ab to r if the sequence of partial sum Sn x is pointwise converges to f. Pointwise converges to f. And this infinite series fkx uniformly converges to the function f if the sequence of partial sums Sn x uniformly converges to f. Uniformly converges to f. Yeah. And moreover, you say that the sequence of function absolutely converges if this, just like in case of real numbers, if this modulus of fkx or fnx, this is convergent. This converges. If this converges for each x in AB, we say that this infinite series fkx is absolutely convergent. So sometimes you say that the infinite series uniformly and absolutely convergent. So it means that the sequence of partial sum uniformly converges to the function f, and this modulus of fkx, this converges for each x to some function. So that's the meaning of uniformly and absolutely convergent. So let us take some examples. So you remember one example?
Sir, please once remind sir.
Yeah.
सर एक बार फिर से रिवाइज कर दीजिए.
फिर से बता देते हैं, ठीक है. हमने बताया कि ये इन्फिनिट सीरीज जो है f1x, f2x, f3x, fnx, ये इन्फिनिट सीरीज है जहां हर मेंबर एक निश्चित इंटरवल पे डिफाइंड है. ईच मेंबर ऑफ द फंक्शन इज डिफाइंड ऑन फिक्स्ड इंटरवल ab. नाउ वी कंस्ट्रक्ट a sequence which nth member is the sum of first n terms, so that this first member of the sequence is simply f1x, the second member of the sequence is f1x plus f2x, third member is the sum of first three terms f1x plus f2x plus f3x, and so on. And similarly, the nth term of the partial sum is the sum of first n terms of the sequence of functions. Now we say that this infinite series pointwise converges to a function, and this function should also be defined on the same interval. So we say that the sequence of function this series of functions is pointwise convergent, and it converges to a function defined on the same interval AB if the sequence of partial sum pointwise converges to F. Sequence of partial sum pointwise converges to the function F. And this infinite series is said to be uniformly convergent, and it uniformly converges to the function F if the sequence of partial sum uniformly converges to the function F. Moreover, if this modulus of this Fk modulus is convergent, for example, this absolutely convergent required only when you say there are some terms which are positive and some terms are negative. Otherwise, this absolute convergent and convergent are same. So it is absolutely convergent if for each x this sigma fx is convergent. If the sigma fx is convergent, we say that this modulus of fkx is absolutely convergent. Okay. So I will come on some example and we'll clarify with the example if there is any doubt. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
तो हमने एक आपको एक सीक्वेंस ऑफ फंक्शन की बात बताई थी. आप लोगों ने शायद उस एग्जांपल को देखा होगा. एक सीक्वेंस हमने बताया था, this fn is a sequence which is defined on this interval, each member of this function defined on interval 0, 1, and it's defined by this x to the power n. Fn x is equal to x to the power n. Each member is defined on this interval 0 to 1. और इसके कन्वर्जेंस की बात हमने किया था, तो मैंने इसको आप लोगों को छोड़ दिया था कि आप लोग इसे कंप्लीट करिएगा. लेट अस रिविजिट दिस एग्जांपल. सो if you plot this, the graph of this function for n is equal to 1, this f1x is simply, so this is your say 0 to 1, your domain 0 to 1. So this f1 is your simply a straight line. F1 is straight line. F2x is x square. So, you know, between 0 and 1, it's like a parabola. So this is the graph of F1, this is the graph of F2, graph of F3, graph of F4, and so on. So in a similar way, you see, as you increase n, this curve is flattened towards the x-axis. So it seems that as you increase n, so the sequence of, so if you, in fact, if you fix any, say A, if you fix any A, where A lies between 0 and 1, so this Fn A is equal to A to the power n. And you know, when A lies between 0 and 1 and n tending to infinity, this converges to 0. This converges to 0. So in fact, if you take any A between 0 and 1, this A may be very, very close to even 1. Even then, this limit of Fn A and tending to infinity for fixed A, this is equal to 0. So therefore, this sequence of function, this converges to 0 for every point A between 0 to 1. So its pointwise converges to 0 between 0 and 1. But at the point 1, if you put x is equal to 1, it is exactly 1. So it's a constant sequence. So therefore, it converges to 1. So for A is equal to 1, this Fn A, limit n tending to infinity, is equal to 1. So in fact, the sequence converges pointwise to the function f. If you define the function f like this, is equal to 0 for x lies between 0 and 1, and is equal to 1 if x is equal to 1. Right? So this sequence of function, converges to the function f pointwise. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But you know you know that each member, this is a polynomial function and each member is continuous. Is it okay? Each member is continuous. It's a polynomial
Yes, sir.
function. Each member is continuous. And what can you say about this limit function? क्या लिमिट फंक्शन कंटिन्यूअस है कि नहीं वन पे?
No, sir.
इट्स नॉट कंटिन्यूअस बिकॉज जस्ट लेस देन वन. कोई भी पॉइंट आप ले लीजिए, 0.99999 1000 बार 9 लिखिए और फिर भी आप देखेंगे वहां उसकी वैल्यू 0 है. और जैसे ही 1 पे पहुंच रहे इसकी वैल्यू, सो सडन चेंज इज देयर एंड देयरफॉर दिस फंक्शन इज नॉट कंटिन्यूअस एट 1. और आप लोगों ने एक थ्योरम पढ़ा है कि अगर कोई कंटिन्यूअस फंक्शन का सीक्वेंस लिया जाए, कंटिन्यूअस फंक्शन का सीक्वेंस लिया जाए और वो यूनिफॉर्मली कन्वर्ज कर रहा हो किसी फंक्शन को, तो ये जो लिमिट फंक्शन है उसको भी कंटिन्यूअस होना चाहिए. इज इट ओके? याद है ना सभी को ये?
Yes, sir.
लेकिन f यहाँ कंटिन्यूअस नहीं है. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि ये जो fn है इस f को यूनिफॉर्मली कन्वर्ज
नहीं करेगा.
नहीं कर रहा है. वेरी गुड, नहीं कर रहा है. So therefore this clearly implies that although the sequence of function converges to f pointwise, but not uniformly, but not uniformly. So the sequence of function converges to f pointwise, but not uniformly, because of this reason that the limit function is not continuous, although each member of the sequence is continuous. Now, but if you consider an interval of this type, say 0 and 1 minus epsilon, अगर इस टाइप का कोई एक इंटरवल आप ले लीजिए 0 1 minus epsilon, तो यहां पे क्या होगा?
सर यूनिफॉर्मली वो हो जाएगा, कन्वर्जेंट,
कंटिन्यूअस हो जाएगा सर.
यूनिफॉर्मली कन्वर्ज करेगा. एप्सिलॉन कितना भी छोटा आप ले लीजिए, however is small epsilon you choose, but on this interval 0 1 minus epsilon, this function fn uniformly converges to f, right?
Yes, sir.
Now we consider this series of function. So now we consider this series sigma fn x, that is x plus x square plus x cube plus star dot and so on, x to the power n plus star dot. Maybe if you like, you can take starting from x to the power 0 also. So maybe you write 1 plus x square and so on. You can also include this one. तो किसी भी सीक्वेंस में कुछ नंबर्स ऐड कर दीजिए, सब्ट्रैक्ट कर दीजिए, उससे उसके कन्वर्जेंस पे आप लोगों ने पढ़ा है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. So if you want, you can add 1. So what is your SNX here? अगर आप यहाँ अगर सीक्वेंस पार्शियल सम बनाएं तो SNX क्या होगा? SNX is f1x, f2x, f3x, fn. So it's be 1 plus x square plus dot dot x to the n minus 1. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you know, the sum of first n terms of this is geometric progression. Geometric progression with the number of terms n and common ratio x. So this is equal to 1 minus x to the power n upon 1 minus x, provided this x is less than 1. Right?
Sir.
And when x is equal to 1, this is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, so this is equal to n. So this is your sequence of partial sum. Sequence of partial sum. When x lies between 0 and 1, it is given by this function 1 minus x to the power n upon 1 minus x, and when x is equal to 1, this is n. So at x is equal to 1, can you say the sequence of partial sum is convergent? So at x is equal to 1, even the sequence is not point-wise convergent, right? Because Sn x is equal to n, and this n is not a convergent sequence. So therefore, at x is equal to 1, this sequence Sn x is not convergent. This is not convergent. So the sequence of partial sum is not convergent. So there is no question of convergent of this infinite series. There is no question of convergent of the infinite series. So you can discuss what happened when x lies between 0 and 1. Right? So first we think of the point-wise convergence. So if you fix any x between 0 and 1, so let us fix x is equal to a between 0 and 1. So this Sn a so what is your expectations? What is your expectation? Is Sn a and minus Sa. You just think over here when n tending to infinity or fixed x. So I am just exploring here. This Sn a, this is equal to, you can write 1 upon 1 minus a and plus a to, sorry, minus a to the power n upon 1 minus a. Right? So see here, as you increase n and a less than 1, a lies between 0 and 1, for fixed a, this a to the power n will tending to 0. And therefore, this limit function you may expect to be 1 upon 1 minus a. So if you subtract this Sn a minus Sa, where this S is the limit function, this Sn a minus Sa, this modulus, this is equal to this a to the power n upon 1 minus a. So however small epsilon you choose for fixed a, you can get a number n such that a to the power n upon 1 minus a is less than epsilon. So therefore, if you fix this a, this Sn a converges to Sa pointwise. Just pointwise. Is it okay?
Find.
Yes, sir.
And therefore, this infinite series, Fn x converges pointwise. Now, what is your guess about the uniform convergence of this sequence of functions? What is your guess about? Even on the interval 0, 1, open interval 0, 1. I am not talking, because at 1 it is not convergent, so let us forget about 1. So it is not uniformly convergent at 1, even pointwise convergent at 1. So forget about 1. What about its uniform convergence on this interval 0, 1? What is your guess?
सर होगा 0 ओपन इंटरवल 0,1 पे
ओपन इंटरवल 0,1 पे होगा, ये आप लोगों का एक्सपेक्टेशन है। सभी लोगों का ये एक्सपेक्टेशन है?
यस सर।
यस सर।
यस सर।
ओके, चलिए वेरीफाई करते हैं। अब अगर मान लें इसी इक्वेशन पे आप ध्यान दें, दिस Sn a माइनस Sa एंड लेट अस वेरी दिस x। अब यहाँ a हम फिक्स नहीं कर रहे हैं। अगर यही Sn x माइनस Sx, तो इसको हम a को हटा करके हम यहाँ पे कोई जनरल x लिखना चाहते हैं, जहां x 0 1 के बीच में कोई नंबर हो सकता है। तो लेट अस राइट दिस Sn x minus Sx, and that will be here x to the power n upon 1 minus x, and this will be here s to the power x to the power n upon 1 minus x. अब आपको सोचना है कि क्या कोई ऐसा नंबर n आपको मिलेगा such that for any x this x to the power n upon 1 minus x is less than epsilon. So फिर से एक बार आप देखिए क्या आपको चाहिए for given epsilon itself is a small number. For given epsilon you need to find a number n such that this quantity is strictly less than epsilon for every x in 0 to 1. Is it possible?
यस सर, बिकॉज जो x है वो ओपन इंटरवल 0 से 1 के बीच में लाई कर रहा है और n को हम लोग बढ़ाते जाएंगे तो एज एक ऐसा n जरूर मिलेगा जो इसकी वैल्यू एप्सिलॉन से छोटी होगी.
नो यू रिमेम्बर, पहले आप लोग थोड़ा सोचें फिर बात करें. अगर a फिक्स कर दिया, अगर x आपने फिक्स कर दिया 1.2 सॉरी 1/2 1/3 इवन 0.9 0.95 0.99 अगर फिक्स कर दिया देन देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम. लेकिन अगर मैं कह रहा हूं कि हमको एक ऐसा n चाहिए जो सभी x के लिए सही हो, मान लीजिए n इज इक्वल टू आपने ले लिया 10 to the power 100, राइट? और आपको दिखाना है कि इससे बड़े सभी n के लिए इस x to the power इवन ये फिक्स कर लीजिए 10 to the power 100 upon 1 minus x this should be less than epsilon. अब जरा x को 1 के करीब लेके चले जाइए. जैसे जैसे x 1 के करीब आएगा डिनोमिनेटर बहुत तेजी के साथ 0 की तरफ बढ़ेगा, और जब डिनोमिनेटर 0 की तरफ बढ़ेगा तो ये क्वांटिटी इंफिनिटी की तरफ बढ़ने लगेगी. एटलीस्ट एप्सिलॉन से तो छोटा नहीं होने वाला. सभी लोग एग्री हैं कि नहीं? सभी लोग एग्री कर रहे हैं कि अगर x को फिक्स कर देते हैं, इफ यू फिक्स्ड x देन देयर इज नो प्रॉब्लम. तो ठीक है, हाँ a टू द पावर n जो है एप्सिलॉन से छोटा आएगा, इनको बढ़ा दीजिएगा, a टू द पावर n एप्सिलॉन से छोटा हो जाएगा.
इनको अगर कर सकते हैं ना सर?
यस,
इनको सर फिक्स नहीं कर सकते हैं, x को कर सकते हैं.
ना वो x को फिक्स करेंगे तो पॉइंट वाइज कन्वर्जेंट होगा. लेकिन अगर हम यूनिफॉर्म कन्वर्जेंट की बात करते हैं तो फॉर एवरी n ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू n एंड फॉर एवरी x बिलोंग्स टू द इंटरवल 0-1. ठीक है, तो अगर हम एक ही n को अभी फिक्स करें, अभी तो n को बढ़ाना भी है, अगर किसी एक n को ले आके हमने फिक्स किया और हम ये चेक करना चाहें कि हाँ क्या फॉर एवरी x लाई बिटवीन 0 to 1 ये होल्ड कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा, तो मान लीजिए n इज इक्वल टू आपको बहुत बड़ा नंबर चाहिए ना, हमने 10 to the power 100 ले लिया और नाउ लेट अस फिक्स 10, और अब x को हम 0 की तरफ बढ़ा रहे हैं, सॉरी 1 की तरफ 10 करा रहे हैं. तो व्हेन x टेंडिंग्स टू 1 दिस क्वांटिटी कन्वर्जेस टू इंफिनिटी. At least it is not less than some finite number. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Therefore, this sequence of partial sum will not converge uniformly to this limit function Sx, and therefore the sequence of this series of functions is not going to uniformly converge to 1/1 minus x. So this is very interesting. अभी तक आप लोग यही जानते थे कि ज्योमेट्रिक प्रोग्रेशन 1/1 minus x पे तो कन्वर्ज करता ही है, but this converges only pointwise on the interval 0-1. This will not converges to uniformly on 1/1 minus x on this interval 0-1. 1 पे तो नहीं ये करता. लेकिन रिमेंबर, अगर यही 0-1 में जैसा कि हमने पिछले वाले एग्जांपल में बताया, if you just consider 0-1 minus epsilon, even if you consider closed interval 1 minus epsilon, then you can show that it uniformly converges to 1/1 minus x. Agreed? So you can verify.
Yes, sir.
You verify on your own that this.
Sir, C का भी सर क्लास है सर.
हाँ नहीं, मैं क्लोज कर रहा हूँ. I'm just going to close it. तो ये जो है सीक्वेंस ऑफ फंक्शन जो है, ये जो सीरीज ऑफ फंक्शन जो है, that point wise converges to the function f, but it not uniformly converges to function 1/1 minus x. So that's but it uniformly converges on this interval. This you remember that it uniformly converges on this interval 0-1 minus epsilon. However small epsilon you choose, कितना भी small epsilon लीजिए तो इसको यूनिफॉर्मली कन्वर्ट करेगा. तो ठीक है, आज इतना हम लोग करते हैं. कल जो है वो जो हमारे स्टूडेंट अशोक हैं इसको और थोड़ा क्लैरिफाई करेंगे और एक दो और एग्जाम्पल जो है पिछले इंटीग्रल वाले उससे ये आपको कराएंगे, और अगर टाइम मिलेगा तो हम लोग आगे पढ़ेंगे. अदरवाइज मैं इसी प्रोसेस को कंटिन्यू करूंगा कि 3 दिन मैं क्लास लूंगा और चौथे दिन या मैं भी रहूंगा, आप लोगों के कॉन्टेक्ट में मैं भी रहूंगा, मैं भी ऑनलाइन कनेक्ट होऊंगा, बट ही विल हेल्प इन सॉल्विंग सम प्रॉब्लम्स. So thank you all.
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you.